So let's talk about why. Let's talk about why we're having those numbers here.
The culture, the way we live, the food we eat, the fast food, uh, um, the lifestyle, the sedentary lifestyle. People go to work and don't exercise as much. I mean, you look at TV and you see there's so much talk about exercise, and people don't actually do it because it's a culture. It becomes a cultural thing the way we live. Like it's almost as if fast food became America. It's like a really big thing in America now. Fast food. Everyone, rushing to work. They don't eat breakfast. They walk with a coffee. Then for lunch, they got McDonald's, Dunkin' Donuts, Starbucks. So it's just fast food all the time and less exercise. More work, more fast food, less exercise.
So let's talk about, we talked about the societal impact and what is happening in the wider society. So let's drill down a little closer to home and talk about why this is happening in East New York.
Well, what we found out is that, example, if you should travel to Manhattan or you should travel to more, like Upper East Side, more wealthy neighborhoods, you would find farmers market, more organic stores. And if you should travel to East New York, at every intersection, every city block, there's a fast food restaurant, a Chinese store. And what we found out is that the people in these neighborhoods, it's become like
patternistic.
Yeah, that's what they eat every day from these fast food restaurants. I mean, they eat breakfast, they eat lunch, maybe even dinner at these fast food restaurants instead of cooking, because it boils down to availability. There's not enough fresh food supermarkets in the neighborhoods, and a lot of people have this idea that buying organic or buying fresh food is expensive, but it's not expensive. It's actually less cheap, but it's just availability. And we found, the leaders in the city is not addressing this problem, so that we can get more, fresh food, vegetable markets.
And there are some programs that are happening now where local departments of health, are looking into programs where they can bring that in. And so there are things that are happening now that weren't happening before. But you say you lived in East New York.
Yes.
So you have firsthand experience. When you lived there, was it hard for you to find fresh food markets?
Well, I actually didn't start going to a farmer's market until recently. And a farmer's market really isn't as expensive, but living there and going to school there, basically there's always fast food. Like 4 blocks away, there's a Popeyes, Dunkin' Donuts. There are a lot of fast food. But it's also an economic thing, because some people, they feel like they have no choice because it's right there, it's available, it's, But other times it's just, you think you don't have the money also, and you don't have the time. You're so busy working and trying to keep, pay your rent and everything. And you don't focus on the types of foods you buy. You just pick up whatever it is. So you don't have
to rush and go.
Exactly.
You rush and go.
You're worried about so many other things.
Right. So let's talk about preventative measures for obesity. What did you guys find with that?
Well, preventative measure. I mean, this here, I think, is the biggest issue with obesity, the preventive measure, because preventing obesity is you tapping into people's lifestyle, the culture, the way they've been living for a very long time. We found out that there's a lot of programs around the city where you can go, and recreational centers where you can go and work out, but people just don't want to do it. They just want, and
they're not committing to it.
They're not committed, and sometimes they just don't have the time. You're so busy all the time. You're going to work, you're coming home, you don't have the time to go and work out. So stuff like that also needs to be adjusted. Maybe employers need to install, which some employers do have gyms.
They do.
And I think we need to have that more so that people can work out.
Sure. Let's talk about in terms of young people, who are just as busy in school and with other activities. There are a lot of physical education classes, and I'm sure most of you do take physical education. But what are you learning in physical education? Are there set parameters for physical education, a number of hours a week? What is happening now with physical ed?
Yeah, I mean, there is set parameters in school. Example, high schools in New York, you have a set number of terms of physical education you have to take. And it's every day, and it's 40 minutes a day in most schools. And what we found out that, this is enough. This is enough exercise on paper, the amount of time you need. But we find out with students, the amount of calorie intake they're taking, this might not be enough. It might need just going to the gym and playing basketball.
Or even what they're doing in physical ed, might not be enough.
Yeah, it might not be enough. It's not the cardio that you need, to burn these calories. In the gym playing basketball for a few minutes might not be enough. And most of the students, I mean, you play and you sit down, and so you find out it might be 40 minutes, but you might actually exercise